Did you know that some cabins were abandoned for reasons more terrifying than you can imagine? Places where families went to escape, only to find something waiting for them in the shadows. We're talking about places where the veil between our world and the other side wears thin. I've been in my fair share of haunted places, trust me. Tonight, we're going deep into the heart of darkness. Get ready. This is no joke. Deep in the Appalachian Mountains, nestled among towering pines and shrouded in an unnatural fog, sits a dilapidated cabin. Locals call it the Miller Place, a name whispered with a mix of fear and morbid curiosity. They say the Millers were a good family, hard-working, God-fearing folk. Then one day, they were gone, vanished. The old-timer down the road said he saw the whole family pile into their truck, a look of sheer terror etched on their faces, and speed off into the woods, never to be seen again. When the authorities arrived at the Miller cabin, they found something truly unsettling. The place was eerily untouched. Dinner plates sat on the table, half-eaten meals growing cold. Toys lay scattered on the floor, as if dropped in mid-play. It was as if time had simply stopped for the Millers, frozen in a single terrifying moment. The air was heavy with a palpable sense of dread, a coldness that seeped into your bones. You could feel the eyes of something unseen watching you. Locals will tell you that the Millers aren't gone, not entirely. They say their spirits are trapped there, forever bound to the place where they met their gruesome end. This place had a different kind of evil. Out in the desolate plains of the southwest, where the sun beats down with an unforgiving intensity, stands a weather-beaten cabin. This was the lair of a dangerous cult. They called themselves the Children of the New Sun, led by a charismatic madman named Elijah. Elijah preached a twisted gospel of fire and sacrifice, promising his followers eternal life through a ritualistic cleansing by flames. The authorities got wind of their activities when a hiker stumbled upon a scene straight out of your worst nightmares. Inside that cabin they found remnants of their twisted rituals. Strange symbols, drawn in what appeared to be blood, adorned the walls. A makeshift altar, stained with something that could only be described as evil, stood at the center of the room. Elijah and his followers believed that fire would purify their souls, but all they found was a horrific end. The Children of the New Sun are long gone now, but the locals will tell you their evil lingers. They say that if you listen closely on a still night, you can hear the crackle of flames and the screams of the sacrificed echoing across the plains. The unsolved crime scene. This one still haunts me. It was a cold November morning when the call came in. A group of hunters had stumbled upon a scene of unimaginable horror in the remote wilderness of the Pacific Northwest. A cabin, nestled deep in the woods, its windows dark and lifeless. Inside, a nightmare awaited. The authorities arrived to find the cabin's interior transformed into a slaughterhouse. Blood stained the walls, the floors, the furniture. The air was thick with the metallic scent of death. And in the center of it all lay the bodies. 3 of them, a young couple, their faces frozen in expressions of sheer terror, and a child no more than 10 years old clutched protectively in his mother's arms. They had been brutally murdered, their bodies bearing the marks of unspeakable violence. Whoever did this was a monster, a predator of the darkest kind. But the most unsettling detail was a single word carved into the wall above the fireplace in what appeared to be blood. Mercy. The authorities investigated every lead, every whisper, every rumor, but the case went cold. The killer was never found. Some say the cabin is cursed, a magnet for darkness and violence. They say the spirits of the victims still wander the woods, searching for the peace they were denied in life. And the word mercy remains, a chilling reminder of the evil that lurks in the shadows, waiting for its next victim. From the dense forests of the Appalachians to the sun-baked plains of the southwest, abandoned cabins stand as silent sentinels to the darkness that lurks within the human heart. They are places where the veil between our world and the next wears thin, where the echoes of terror linger long after the screams have faded. These are not just forgotten structures rotting away in the wilderness, they are time capsules of horror, each one holding the potential to unlock the darkest recesses of our fears. So the next time you find yourself driving down a lonely road and you see a dilapidated cabin in the distance, its windows dark and empty, remember this: some secrets are best left buried, some doors should never be opened, and some places are best left undisturbed. In the heart of these forsaken cabins, where time seems to stand still, lies a chilling secret that few dare to uncover. The cult, shrouded in mystery and darkness, performed rituals that defy comprehension. Their ceremonies were not mere gatherings, but rather intricate and sinister rites designed to summon forces beyond our understanding. By the flickering light of candles, they would chant ancient incantations, their voices rising and falling in a hypnotic cadence. Symbols etched into the wooden floors and walls spoke of a language long forgotten by mankind. The air, thick with the scent of burning herbs and the metallic tang of blood, would grow heavy with an oppressive energy. Witnesses who stumbled upon these rituals spoke of seeing shadowy figures moving in the periphery of their vision and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread that drove them to flee. Those who dared to stay were never the same, their minds shattered by the horrors they had witnessed. These hidden rituals were not just acts of devotion, they were attempts to bridge the gap between our world and the dark unknown. The cult believed that through their sacrifices and chants they could invoke entities from beyond, entities that promised power and knowledge in exchange for unspeakable acts. As the final chant echoed through the cabin, a deathly silence would fall, broken only by the whispers of the wind and the distant cries of nocturnal creatures. The rituals complete, the cult would vanish into the night, leaving behind the eerie remnants of their dark practices. So if you ever find yourself drawn to an abandoned cabin, remember that within its decaying walls may lie the remnants of these hidden rituals. The echoes of terror may still linger, waiting to ensnare the unwary. Some secrets are best left undiscovered, and some rituals are best left forgotten. The hidden rituals may have ended, but their sinister influence lingers on, weaving a tapestry of fear and mystery around these forsaken cabins. Those who dared to enter these haunted grounds speak of ghostly echoes that chill the soul and unsettle the mind. In the dead of night, when the world is cloaked in darkness, whispers of the past seem to come alive. Some have reported hearing muffled voices reciting the same ancient incantations, as if the rituals were still being performed in some twisted, parallel reality. Footsteps, echoing on the wooden floors, follow the intruders, growing louder and more insistent with each passing moment. The air grows colder, and an unshakable sense of being watched seeps into their bones. Witnesses describe seeing spectral figures, translucent and shimmering, moving through the cabins as if trapped in an eternal loop. These apparitions are said to be the souls of those who once participated in the dark ceremonies, forever bound to the site of their macabre deeds. Objects move on their own, doors slam shut with no apparent cause, and the flickering of lights adds to the sense of unease. The very walls seem to breathe with a life of their own, exuding a palpable sense of dread. Paranormal investigators who have ventured into these cabins have recorded inexplicable phenomena: eerie voices captured on tape, sudden drops in temperature, and electromagnetic fluctuations that defy scientific explanation. Some claim that the spirits are trying to communicate, to tell their stories, or perhaps to warn the living of the dangers that still lurk within these walls. But one thing is certain: the haunting echoes of the past are a testament to the dark history that refuses to be forgotten. So, if you ever find yourself drawn to these haunted cabins, tread carefully. The ghostly echoes and paranormal activities are not merely legends, but real and terrifying reminders of the evil that once thrived here. Remember, some echoes are best left undisturbed, and some doors are best left closed. As the haunting echoes reverberate through the cabins, there exists one place that even the bravest souls dare not enter: the Forbidden Room. Hidden deep within the labyrinthine structure, this room is shrouded in secrecy and dread, its very existence a whispered legend among those who know the dark history of these woods. The door to the forbidden room is marked by strange, cryptic symbols carved into the wood with a precision that suggests an ancient and malevolent purpose. Those who have glimpsed it describe an overwhelming sense of foreboding, as if the room itself is alive, pulsating with a dark energy that repels the living. Inside, the air is thick with an oppressive stillness, broken only by the faintest of whispers that seem to emanate from the very walls. Dust-covered relics of the past lie scattered about, each one a silent witness to the unspeakable horrors that unfolded within these confines. In one corner, a worn and tattered journal tells a tale of madness and despair, its pages filled with frantic scribbles and chilling illustrations. The journal's author, believed to be one of the cult's leaders, writes of rituals gone awry, of entities summoned from beyond, and of a darkness that could not be contained. The centerpiece of the room is an ancient altar, stained with what appears to be blood, its surface etched with runes that defy comprehension. It is here, according to the journal, that the most heinous of rites were performed, binding the souls of the damned to this accursed place. Paranormal investigators who have dared to enter the forbidden room report an overwhelming sense of being watched, of unseen eyes following their every move. Eerie phenomena abound, objects moving on their own, cold spots that defy natural explanation, and disembodied voices that seem to whisper warnings and threats. One investigator described a chilling encounter with a shadowy figure, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. The figure uttered a single word, "Leave," before vanishing into the darkness. The forbidden room stands as a grim reminder of the evil that once thrived here, a place where the veil between the living and the dead is perilously thin. Those who enter do so at their own risk, for the secrets it holds are not meant for the faint of heart. So if you ever find yourself drawn to these haunted cabins, resist the temptation to uncover the mysteries of the forbidden room. Some secrets are best left buried, and some doors are best left unopened. As the shadows lengthen and the night deepens, the brave souls who dare to investigate these haunted cabins find themselves facing the ultimate test of courage. The air grows colder, thick with a palpable sense of dread, as the unseen entities that dwell within these walls stir from their slumber. The footsteps of the investigators echo ominously through the darkened halls, each step bringing them closer to an encounter that will forever haunt their memories. The walls themselves seem to close in, the oppressive atmosphere pressing down upon them, suffocating and relentless. Suddenly the silence is shattered by an unearthly wail, a sound that chills the blood and freezes the soul. The investigators' torches flicker and die, plunging them into an impenetrable darkness. Panic sets in as they fumble for their lights, but something in the darkness is already moving towards them. A figure emerges from the shadows, its form barely distinguishable, but its presence undeniably malevolent. Eyes glowing with an unnatural light, it advances slowly, each step sending waves of terror through the investigators. They try to move, to run, but their bodies are paralyzed with fear, rooted to the spot by an unseen force. The entity raises a hand, and the temperature plummets, frost forming on the walls, and their breath visible in the frigid air. A voice, ancient and filled with malice, echoes through the room, uttering words in a language long forgotten. The investigators feel a pressure in their minds, as if the very thoughts are being ripped from their skulls. Desperation fuels their struggle to break free, and with a final, collective effort, they manage to wrench themselves from the entity's grasp. They stumble towards the exit, the malevolent presence hot on their heels, its rage palpable. As they burst through the door and into the night, the entity halts at the threshold, unable to cross the boundary. It lets out a final bone-chilling scream before retreating into the depths of the cabin, leaving the investigators shaken but alive. The final encounter serves as a harrowing reminder of the dark forces that linger within these woods, entities that defy understanding and thrive on fear. For those who survive, the experience is etched into their very souls, a haunting memory that will never fade. So, heed this warning. The cabins are not merely haunted by the echoes of the past, but by the very real and dangerous entities that reside within. Enter at your own peril, for the final encounter may be your last. The night may have ended, but the terror lingers on. In the aftermath of their harrowing encounter, the investigators find themselves changed, forever marked by the darkness they confronted. Their return to the outside world is a bittersweet escape, a reprieve from the immediate danger, but not from the memories that now haunt their every waking moment. The chilling wail of the entity, the oppressive cold, and the malevolent presence remain etched in their minds, replaying in the stillness of the night. Each creak of a floorboard, each whisper of the wind now carries a sinister undertone, a reminder of the horrors they faced. Sleep offers no refuge, as nightmares plagued by glowing eyes and ancient voices invade their dreams, turning rest into torment. The bond between the investigators, once forged in the fires of curiosity and adventure, is now tempered by shared trauma. They speak little of the experience, as if uttering the words might summon the entity once more. Yet in their silence they find an unspoken understanding, a camaraderie born from surviving the unimaginable. As days turn to weeks, the physical wounds may heal, but the psychological scars remain. The investigators are left to grapple with a newfound awareness of the supernatural, a knowledge that the world is darker and more dangerous than they once believed. Some seek solace in research, delving deeper into the mysteries of the woods in a desperate attempt to make sense of what they encountered. Others distance themselves, hoping that by turning away they might escape the lingering fear. But the truth remains, the cabins in the woods are a place where the past and the present collide, where the echoes of terror are all too real. The final encounter may be over, but the story is far from concluded. The investigators' lives are forever intertwined with the dark forces they dared to challenge, a testament to the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown. As we leave these haunted woods behind, let us remember the bravery of those who faced the darkness and emerged, if not unscathed, then at least alive. Their story serves as a haunting reminder of the mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of our understanding, waiting for those courageous or foolhardy enough to seek them out. For in the aftermath, we find not just fear, but the enduring human spirit, resilient even in the face of the unknown. And so we close this chapter, but the echoes of terror remain. A whisper in the night, a shadow in the corner of your eye.